So welcome to Queen City Toastmasters. We're starting a couple seconds early, but we will hopefully have a few more members join. This is our couple days after Christmas meeting, and we'll see how it goes. It'll be fun, but we're usually on hybrid, but here we are in the Zoom, which is convenient. I'm also a member of our New York club, and they are in just outside of Buffalo. And if you've seen the weather, you know how it is. So that's going to be a Zoom meeting on Thursday. So Zoom does have its place, and it is good for Toastmasters and other meetings. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to our president, Eric Lopez.
Elvis.
What did I say? Did I say something else? Or?
You mixed the two.
Eric Lopez.
Oh, I said Eric Lopez. How funny. Well, he was president a little bit ago.
You got a little bit of both. All right. Well, thank you, David, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and our guest tonight. It's certainly a very busy time of the year, and most of us have made our plans, our resolutions now coming to the end of the year. This is our last meeting of the year, and I'm sure that we all have things that we still have to accomplish until the end of the year. So sometimes we get a little bit overwhelmed with the busyness of the season, the buying the gifts, enjoying the activities, festivities with our family and friends. And sometimes we just forget about our goals. So this is the opportunity to finish our year strong. Let's try to focus on a little bit of planning and get extra motivation so that we can finish the year strong. I could share a couple of tips that can help us also stay focused and finish the year strong. So we don't have a Toastmaster of the day tonight, as we typically do for each of these meetings at Toastmasters, and especially in our club. And so I wanted to, in the spirit of improvising and doing things a little bit different now that we have a little bit of, well, we have quorum already, officially, and can do certain things. So I would like to, as I mentioned, I would like to start at least sharing a couple of things that we can do in terms of finishing and thinking of finishing our year strong. So the first thing is set our achievable goals. And that's one of the things that, as I mentioned, we all have goals, but we have a couple of, if they were set for the year, then we have still a few days to think about, the things that we need to do in order to finish our year strong. And if it is for next year, also, as we finish this one and this year is coming to a close and we start looking at the resolutions, think about setting achievable, smart goals. And by smart, and that's a term that many of us might be familiar with. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So as we look into next year and our resolutions, let's make sure that we set SMART goals. The second tip is, and as I go and start looking into our members who have joined and will be getting into new roles, the next one is make plans. So once we set our goals, the next thing is everything that we think about, if we don't plan accordingly, they just become wishes. They just become dreams. And we dream, and we have to dream big, but we need to set a plan to achieve our goals. And in those plans, we need to make sure that we break those goals into specific tasks, those tasks that will have specific timeline, a deadline, so that we can focus and stay on track on setting up those goals. So with that, I would like to call upon some of the members who will be also helping along to conduct this meeting. And one of those is our inspirational thought master, who tonight is going to be Toastmaster Leon White. So take it away, Leon.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we do.
Cool. I don't know why my camera is not working. I had to switch computers from my work computer to my personal computer from my docking station. So it's always a bunch of unplugging of wires and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure all you guys can relate. Oh, that's blurry. I'm gonna just do no camera for right now so I can fix that. But I'm glad that you all can hear me. I think for today, I thought I was going to tell a joke, but I think I'm going to do something a little bit different. And because we're going into a new year, so trying new things can never hurt. So for this inspirational speech, or I should say groundation for the day, I would like for all my fellow Toastmasters and honorable guests to close their eyes, if they will, if they feel comfortable with doing so. And I'd like for everybody to take 3 deep breaths. And on the second round of 3 deep breaths, this time I'd like for you to inhale twice with a long exhale. So 1, 2, and 3, a long exhale. Do that 3 times for me. Now, as you wrap that up, I want you to feel the weight of your body in the seat that you're sitting in. But more importantly, I also want you to feel the weight of 2022, all the ups, the downs, the trials and tribulations, the wins, the losses, the successes, the feedbacks. And take one more deep inhale. And as you exhale, I want you to release all of that tension and everything that came with 2022. Now, I want you to quietly think about where you are now, the gratitude it feels to be here today on December 27th of 2022, going into a new year very shortly. And I also want you to think about the potential of the things that are to come in 2023, the resilience you'll show for the challenges to come, the joy you'll feel from the successes to come in 2023. And then most of all, and lastly, to remember to give yourself grace as we go into a new year, and continue to give yourself grace as we go through 2023. I'd like for you to open your eyes and I'd like to pass it on to my fellow Toastmaster Elvis for the continuation of this meeting.
Thank you, Leon. Nice exercise. It got me relaxed.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing that. I would like to take the opportunity now to acknowledge the presence of a guest. I spoke with him a little bit before everybody joined, but I would like for him to just open up, mute yourself, and tell us a little bit about yourself, your name. How did you hear about our club, and what is your goal? What are you pursuing by visiting us tonight?
Hi, thank you, Elvis, for the opportunity. Hello, everyone. My name is Mayank Gupta. I live in Charlotte as well. I've been part of this group, but never got an opportunity to be in person or join it. I've moved around a few cities, so I never got an opportunity. But today, I was I got the notification somehow. I was cleaning up one of my old email address, um, which I normally don't check, and I saw this, and okay, there is a meeting, and then saw the Zoom room link. So I thought, okay, this is the right opportunity. I'm more of an online person. Then I should go ahead and attend one of the Toastmasters. This is my first ever Toastmasters, so um, well, my goal is to to obviously get better um, at public speaking. I think I'm personally think I'm not that bad, but there's always room up for improvement. There's like in a small group, I can absolutely talk, but if you put me on a stage, I'll freeze. I'll not talk. So it's more like that, and I would love to, obviously enhance, public speaking. I'd like to become a better leader, and that's probably why I joined. Um, I I'm in I'm in technology. I work for a company called Acquia. It's 100%, not 100%. It's a remote first company, so I get to work for them remotely. They're headquartered in Massachusetts, Boston. Um, it's the other way around, Boston, Massachusetts. So and that's really me. I I I have a small dog with me, and that's uh, that's a little bit about me.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We're happy to have you here, and we would like to invite you to continue coming to our club, even if it is only online. But we have also meetings in person. And since you are in Charlotte, whenever you are able to do it, we would like to invite you also to come on site.
Certainly.
It's, again, every Tuesday. All right. Well, now I would like 3 volunteers. As you know, or as you may all know, except Mayank, who is attending for the first time, we always have all our roles filled before we start the meeting. But this is a very special meeting that we wanted to conduct today. So I need 3 volunteers. 1 to do table topics, 1 to be a timer, and the other one to be a grammarian?
Well, before Eric jumps in, I would like to be timer because he has the idea of a round robin, and obviously he has a thought of how it would work. So I would like him to do the table topics, if that's okay with you, Eric.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and then I'll switch to timer. So I got it up and ready to go.
And then I need a grammarian.
Andrew's got her fingers up because she's straight out of somewhere, Detroit. Yeah.
You're a
You got
mutual.
it right, Detroit.
Oh, nice. Okay. Um, so do we have a grammarian? Or Andrea? Okay, great. All right, so next up, just for the sake of, or for the benefit of Mayank, since he hasn't participated on a Toastmaster meeting before, so I would like to call our timer to explain your role, please.
Yeah, so today we only have improv speaking, the table topics, which are 1 to 2 minutes. And you try to go for the green. That's what we call it. So at 1 minute, I'm going to hit a green, and you know you've made it to the 1 minute. At 1:30, it's going to go yellow, and at red, or at 2 minutes, it's red. And you have 30 seconds on either side to qualify, but as guests, you'll have unlimited amount of time. And that's it. Usually we have speeches from 5 to 7 minutes and evaluations 2 to 3 minutes, but today's just going to be our evaluation or table topics. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster President.
Thank you, David. And now our grammarian, can you please explain your role?
You caught me. So I am your grammarian, and today my job is twofold. I will count all of our so's, and filler words that we use that are unnecessary when we speak, that distract us from the message. And also, I have the pleasure of doing the word of the day. And today, the word of the day, because it is Kwanzaa, happy Kwanzaa to everyone. I do celebrate. It is a 7-day celebration of positivity. And so today's word is Puji Chagalia. I'm gonna put it in the chat, and that's what I was doing when I got caught. But Puji Chagalia means self-determination. So I'm gonna cheat because I never spell it correctly. So that's what I was doing before I got caught. So don't get caught saying not saying Kuji Chagalia and not being self-determined. So that is, I will put it in the chat, and I will turn it back over to our Toastmaster today, Mr. Elvis.
Thank you, Andrea. And as we define our goals, set our plans, one important thing that we need to always keep is to stay motivated. And it's very easy to lose motivation when we are overwhelmed because of the different activities, job, results that are not necessarily what we expected. But in those circumstances, it is always important to stay motivated. And one way to stay motivated is keeping ourselves track of the things and the benefits of staying motivated. The things that are actually important in terms of achieving getting little wins or achieving milestones, specifically that are going to keep us in the way of achieving our goals. Stay motivated is extremely important so that we can gain the courage to continue. Because as I mentioned, as we lose focus, as we lose motivation, also it's one of the reasons why many people don't just continue, just stop and don't push forward. So it is important to always stay motivated. Just keep little rewards for yourself when you do little things, just but to remind yourself that you're moving forward, even if it is a small step. So keep yourself motivated by just rewarding yourself and thinking that there is something better at the finish line. Now, with that, I would like to give the opportunity to our impromptu session, and that will be conducted by our table topics master, who is Toastmaster Eric. So take it away, Eric.
Thank you, Mr. True President. And good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. For your benefit, I'm going to explain what Table Topics is. It's something that we do at every meeting. And as you've noticed, we all have roles. And one of the purposes of each person explaining their roles is so people who are not familiar with Toastmasters understand how the meeting is run. So we hope that it gets them more interested. So Table Topics is a section of each meeting where somebody who is the Table Topics master, in this case, it's me, asks people in the group questions that they don't know what the question will be ahead of time. And it's an opportunity for people to learn and practice impromptu speaking. And that's an important skill that all of us usually have to apply in different areas of our life, especially in our jobs or in school. And one of the things that people don't realize about impromptu speaking, in general, it's nothing more than having a conversation. Because when you get together with people, even who you know, there's a conversation and people are asking questions and people are answering questions. And so I like to think of Table Topics in that way. Now, David said that I had a thought or an idea. And so let me put this to the group. We could do one of two things. We could do I guess we could do one of three things. So we're gonna have to have a vote. So I'm gonna name all the three things, and then we can have a vote and we can decide what we want to do. Number one, traditional table topics. I can ask for volunteers and I can do all the question asking. Number two, we can do alternating table topics masters. I call that a round robin table topics. I'm not sure if that's the correct term or not, but thinking that every person can get to ask a question and every person can get to answer a question. So I can ask for a volunteer, I can ask them the first question, then that person can ask for another volunteer, they can ask them another question. And so we can give everybody an opportunity to have a table topics question. And the third option is to do, David had mentioned this, and you may have to explain this, David, a little bit more, but we ask a question, one person starts to answer it, and then that person somehow passes the continuation of the answer onto somebody else, I guess, until we go through the whole group. Can you clarify that, David, please?
Yeah, I believe that's the true red robin or round robin in Toastmasters. It's sort of like what we've done in improv, where you start a story and then all of a sudden I stop and then the next person continues the story and then they stop and then somebody else adds, just kind of building on to this fiction story. But that's kind of a fun activity that we do in improv, but also in Toastmasters whenever it's able to do it. But I do
that sounds more like NaNoWriMo for the writing part. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that one.
Now, what's it called? Can you repeat that word?
I've written in chat. NaNoWriMo.
NaNoWriMo.
Multiple writers continue their stories and they create a small novel.
That sounds awesome. Yeah.
Nice.
Never heard that term, but I kind of got where he was going with it.
So any comments? The floor is open and then I'm going to call a vote. This is an official meeting, so. Okay, so I'm not going to vote. I'll be the tiebreaker. We have 6 people. So option 1, traditional table topics. Option 2, let me restate the options. Option 2 is each person gets to ask a question to somebody else till everyone's answered a question. And number 3 is we do NaNoWriMo. Thank you for putting it in the chat. Okay, so if you'd like to do option 1, raise your hand. Okay. Okay. If you want to do option 2, raise your hand. Okay. If you want to do option 3, raise your hand.
What was it, three?
Okay. I think that's a tie. Okay. I'm going to break the tie. I'm going to go for option 3, NaNoWriMo, so we could just do something a little bit different. David, you may have to just help coordinate that a little bit, but I'll get us started off. So can I have a volunteer for the question? Alan's got his hand up. Okay, perfect. So David, I just get us started, right? I just ask a question and then we keep going.
Yeah, I think you would start a story and then you would say, you'd get a few paragraphs and then you say, and then Elvis said, or Elvis did, and then Elvis knows it's his, and then that's how you turn it off to somebody else or turn it over.
Okay, so gotcha. And so we pass it off whenever we're done with what we want to say, or do we still use a timer?
Oh, I'll do a timer. 60 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
How long do you want? 60 seconds? I mean, yeah, we're gonna have plenty of time, obviously.
Well, we'll do the regular timing. So you want to speak for 60 seconds, but no more than a minute and a half.
Sounds good.
I have a question. Do we have to say the whole story or we just start from the point we're at? Okay.
Yeah. Just be creative. Do your thing. Be a butterfly.
So, yeah, sorry. I'm just thinking about this for a second, and I want to get us started on the right foot. It's like anything in life. If you start off on the right foot, the journey is going to be easier and funner. Okay, I'm actually going to start by asking Alan a question. So through the question, Alan, you'll start the group off. Can you describe something that happened to you in your life that would be appropriate to use the words wow, amazing, and incredible in that story?
Yes, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and our honored guests. Once upon a time, there was a very young and handsome and intelligent man named Alan, who was full of kujigagulia. Was that right?
Yes.
Gujikagulia.
Chagalia.
What she said. There used to be a lot more of Alan to love from a horizontal perspective. And over the last 12 years, Alan made some pretty significant changes to his diet and exercise regimen. And over the last 12 years, give or take, he lost about 70 pounds. But over the last 2 years or so has regained about half of that. And 5 months from yesterday, Alan will be turning 40. And Alan now has about 5 months to lose almost 40 pounds. And so Alan was at Queen City Toastmasters last Tuesday and brought a bunch of leftover candy because he didn't need that kind of temptation in his house. And Alan will be continuing to do that. And Alan will be turning to a lot of other people for inspiration and accountability and motivation. And I'm not sure how to keep this story going, but perhaps Andrea can tell us what happens next.
Wow, Alan, that's an amazing Kujichagulia story. I would love to be your support in that endeavor, as I have too lost about 90 pounds now in the last year and a half and still going. I did stall a little bit because I got a little ill, but I always use Kujichagulia. It comes back up to get myself motivated to where I want to be, including printing, I mean, not printing, but publishing my 3 of my book babies, as I call them, this year, and trying to push towards getting the next one published for the new year. And also, we were able to give 70 books out. We had a goal of 100, but we were able to get 70 books out since I saw the children that showed up um, for our book drive. So we gave away 36 in South Carolina and about 35 in North Carolina. So we still have books to give away. If you know an organization who could use more books, we had one of our few of our Toastmasters who did donate to that, and I thank you for your contribution. And I'm not sure where this story will end, but I'm sure it will end with my dreams coming true. And I'm going to turn this over to Toastmaster Elvis to tell me some of his dreams that may have come true or seeking to come true for 2023.
Thank you, Andrea, and good evening again, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. Speaking about Kujichagulia and self-determination, I have been in the process of making many changes in my life since a few years ago. That started with, and I would say probably a little bit before that, but I was going to say 2 years ago when I changed jobs, but it really started back in 2014 when I decided to go over a completely new diet that would get me into something that everybody thought it couldn't be possible. Even myself doubt at that point, and it was getting 6-pack abs. So that was a challenge, and I turned myself into a complete weirdo in terms of following all the programs and all of the diets and different things. So I have tried pretty much all the diets that there is and all the systems, including doing weights, running, and doing many things. So myself, in trying to get to a specific goal that I set at that point, well, I got into just knowing a little bit more about what is taking care of your health. And that turned into, from the obsession of just trying to get six-pack abs to actually learning about health and staying healthy and eating healthy and taking a regimen of eating well, doing exercises, and then getting ready to prepare myself for other things. So that included also pursuing other dreams, changing jobs, and focusing on building myself, building my entrepreneurship skills, building my other skills in different things, such as getting back to Toastmasters and trying to actually become a better speaker, because that has been one of my areas, most challenging areas in my professional career since I started. So all of that, thank you to my Kugi Chaglia. And I know that I went over, but I would like Toastmaster Eric to continue with his story.
Thank you, Elvis. I once had a dream of also converting my body into six-pack abs, but I fell short terribly. See, I was in college, and it was a time in my life when there was a lot more eating, partying, and drinking than working out. And so six-pack abs wasn't really a term that I was familiar with as much as just six-pack. And so many a Friday night and a Saturday night, rather than working on my body and exercising and doing the things I needed to do to get six-pack abs, I was just six-packing it. And that lasted for 4 years. And you've heard of the freshman 15? Well, when I was done with college and then my training, I had gained about 30 pounds and was the heaviest I'd ever been in my life. I was almost 200 pounds. And it was not a good thing, especially trying to start my medical practice, having conversations with my patients that, you know, you really ought to look after your health. And the problem that I ran into was when I was training, we were given free donuts, free lunch at the hospital, which about 4 days out of the week, I would have a cheeseburger, French fries, and a nice helping of apple pie. And so it was really reaching deep down to my Kuji Chagalia that I was able to work that weight off and go from a six-pack, not quite to six-pack abs, maybe to about a 2.5-pack abs was my ultimate goal. Now, I know one of our other members, Leon, has probably had a lot of good personal experience with self-determination, because I love hearing his thoughts on that and other subjects. And so I'm now going to pass the baton over to Leon to hear what he has to say.
Yes, thank you, fellow Toastmaster Eric. And I love hearing these wonderful Kuji Chakalia stories of resilience and overcoming. Speaking of resilience and overcoming, I would say when I was younger, if we're staying on the topic of improving our health and our wellness and so forth, I would have to say that growing up, my issue was always a little bit different. I was what they would say I had more head than I had body. I was skinny. I was a skinny kid. And wanting to play football, I spent many days and nights in the weight room, lifting weights, eating rice and chicken, drinking protein shakes. But as now I am approaching 30 in this new year coming, I would say that yes, it's a little different now. My body's a little bit different. The food that was eaten during Thanksgiving seems to stick around a little bit longer than it used to when I was 19. And so I myself are looking for new fun ways to promote health and wellness through exercise, as opposed to just simply going to the gym and doing typical gym stuff. Looking for group exercises, being that I moved to Charlotte in April, it'd be 2 years, but continue to want to expand and grow my network. I'll be looking to do group exercises, thinking about either Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu, maybe even CrossFit, to figure out those sort of ways, and also getting more in touch with my competitive nature as well too, and to just have some fun, compete, and also to test my limits as I'm still young, still very healthy, still want to see what my body is capable of doing. So doing that and being able to find that community to support me and to also look for those same things is something that I'll definitely be looking forward to in the new year. And so, with that being said, in terms of that story, I would like to pass the story along to hear from Mayank. Did I pronounce that right? On some of the Fuji Chakalia stories that he may have to give.
Perfect. First of all, thank you, Leon. And hello, fellow Toastmasters. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak here and share my Kuji Chagalia uh, story. So, keeping in the same you know realm of health and wellness, it about 4 years ago. I mean, I was in Charlotte, and I was one of the doctors told me that I'm pre-diabetic, and it my diabetes level were about 7.5-ish or something like that. I don't remember exactly. Um, and just around that time, I got laid off, which caused me again a lot of stress, which was not helpful really. But thanks to my wife, she suggested me to while I was looking for the job and interviewing and getting rejected, she suggested that it's better that you should join a gym. So I joined Planet Fitness, and I started to work and channelize my Kujichaglia. Uh, and I decided that, okay, I need to be out of this situation. I used to constantly, uh, you know, I I was on a treadmill. That was what I focused mostly on, and I there were sessions where I actually in one single session I burned about 1,000 calories. So to make sure that I got better, and over a period of I think within 2 months or so, I went down to 5.5 as far as my diabetes condition was concerned. So that with that, I would like to pass on to uh, David to share some of his uh, wonderful moments.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You guys.
Well,
I will time you, David.
all right. Well, my Kujichagulia is that this January, almost a year ago, I was at about 190 pounds, and today I'm about 20 pounds heavier than that. It was I was doing great in 2021, and then 2022 life got in the way, a lot of promotion, and I've had a girlfriend for a while, and there's a number of issues that created the problem. But getting back into it, and something for Leon and anybody else in Charlotte, I'm a part of a couple meetup groups, and January 1st, we are going to be hiking Crowder's Mountain. We used to do that almost every week. That was another part of the problem. We would go hiking almost every week, and then that got me into mountains, and I was in really great shape because I was just always hiking. But now I haven't done that in quite a while, mostly because of the weather too. But so this January 1st, if anybody's interested, we're going to hike Crowder's Mountain, and we'll probably start doing that at least twice a month. It'll be on us, whatever that is, Saturday, Sunday. I'm not even sure what day it is. But so that'll be it. But yeah, so I just got back from a cruise for Christmas, and that did not help my situation at all. If you've been on a cruise, you know it's 24/7 food, and that's where I'm at. So I don't really have a plan to lose weight, just start exercising more, be more active, and focused on my health more, because as I'm getting older, I think I'm a little bit older than Alan and Leon, but I'm getting there. So going to work on getting back in shape. Back to Table Topics Master Eric.
I think that concludes everybody having had an opportunity to speak. So thank you to all of our speakers. That was very entertaining. That was very imaginative. And it kind of leaves a good feeling personally, knowing that I was part of a group Table Topics and not just standing out there on my own. So this was a lot of fun. David, thank you for suggesting it. Can we please now have a timers report?
You cannot, because I thought we were just going to keep going, so I was just doing the times. I didn't. I could say 2 people went overtime. That would be Elvis and I believe Eric. But other than that, everybody did good. So.
Okay, well, that was very good. Thank you to all of our participants. I would now like to turn the meeting back over to our Toastmaster of the day and our current president, Elvis.
Oh, I thought we were going to do a second round. It's good. Well, thank you so much. I think that was really fun and very entertaining, and actually I learned a little bit about everybody here, which was also pretty good and get us a little bit closer, which is also important in maintaining this group as a cohesive group of people going and pursuing similar goals. So as I started speaking about our goals, and we need to make plans and we need to stay motivated, another thing that is important is to stay organized. And that's also one of the key points of setting up our plans. Typically, we have many things, and some goals are bigger, more complicated, require a lot more effort. And so, in order to stay on point, we need to stay organized. And that means specifically breaking it down into small pieces and setting up priorities. Sometimes we get overwhelmed because we have so many things, but if you have heard about the 80-20, typically with 20% of the most important things, we'll do 80% of the results. And so we need to organize ourselves, try to focus on the most important things, start with prioritizing and making sure that we're doing the things that are getting us closer to our goal first, so that we stay on point and on track. And finally, celebrate our successes. That's as we go on, achieve little wins, little things, little milestones, celebrate our successes. And that's something that will keep us not only motivated, but also will help us in the process. So as we approach the end of the year, remember to set up our goals, make a plan, stay motivated, stay organized, and celebrate your successes. That will get us to the end of the year and finish strong. So stay focused, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been a great meeting, and I would like to pass the ball back to Mr. Eric for some final thoughts.
I just wanted to remind us that I think Andrea is going to give us a grammarian report. Okay. That was the
I will
grammarian
just say
report.
it was great Kujichagulia up in here to say the word Kujichagulia. The best person who said it was our guest, Mr. Mayak. And so I just appreciate everyone here and Happy New Year.
Thank you, guys.
Mhm.
All right, with that, I think any announcements from the officers present here? No. Another reminder that we have a meeting next week is going to be in person. It's going to be probably more challenging than today, but we're going to come on site. And those who can participate, please join us next week in our first meeting of the year. And also, we need to get ready in January for the contest that will happen in February, or before February. We have to finish our contest for the club and then pass on to the area. So that's something that we're going to be focusing on in January. Now, with that, I would like to, again, thanks everyone. And before I let you go, I would like to hear one more time from our guest, Mayank. Tell us a little bit about your experience with us tonight and final
Yeah.
thoughts.
Absolutely. Well, this was a wonderful exercise. I mean, I honestly, I enjoyed it. I loved it. Loved to get to know you guys. You know, as Elvis mentioned a while ago, that this is my first meeting, but I with this exercise itself, it feels like I know you all. You know, and I really look forward to meeting you guys actually in person. So if I just want to, I mean, again, I'm not entirely sure of the membership or anything of those sorts, but I am whatever is required, I'm happy to do that. And if I'm on the right website, it shows that it's supposed to be in the Wine UMC. Is that correct?
No, Divine, it's a Methodist church, is it?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where you guys meet, right? Okay, perfect. So I mean, personally, I mean, I'm glad that I joined today, and I look forward to keep on joining every week.
Yeah, we're happy to have you today.
Thank you guys.
All right, well, thank you all so much. You all enjoy the festivities, and I wish you all a happy new year. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Happy New
Bye.
Year,
Happy,
everybody.
Happy New
happy
Year.
and safe New Year, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Right.